Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel once again for a PSGL E-Series highlights video. Today we are at round 2 in France, as you can see here, and yeah, after the success we had in the first round with a 1-2 finish, we are looking for more of the same here in France, trying to extend that championship lead. But yeah, very much still taking it race by race, as we are very much still early doors in this championship, and not looking to get too ahead of ourselves. But obviously it's a good start that we want to build on. But here, getting ready for the first lap of Q1, hopefully more of the same that we had in Imola, with simply being able to put in one lap and getting through to the next session with plenty of fresh tyres remaining. So we're going to head down to first corner now, braking at about 50-metre board, just before, a little bit wide of the apexes, and we get a little bit of a snap on the exit of turn 2 there, and immediately invalid our first lap. So that is a set of tyres down the pan, and we're going to have to go again at the end of the session. So this lap has to count now, otherwise we're going to have a rather embarrassing Q1 exit here. Fortunately, we navigate the first couple of corners better than we did the first time, and we're going to try and jump over these curbs nicely. A little bit wide of the left-hander, but we navigate it decently enough nonetheless, and we are absolutely in line with our delta, which I believe was a low 30. So definitely not enough to get us through to the likes of Q2, I would imagine. With the quality on this grid, and as you can see, we are still a few hundredths down heading into the last sector of this lap with a 49.7 on the sector 2 split. So it's not ideal heading into this last sector, but we know we have a lot of time on our delta to be picked up, as you can see through that long right where we had a snap on our previous lap. We gained almost a 10th, and once again through this long left-hander where we had another snap, we gain another few tenths. So we look pretty comfortable heading into the last couple of corners. Just have to see this lap out now. A little bit wide of the last corner's apex, but we have the DRS open once again.
Lap.
As we say, dreadful lap there. We're not very happy, but we go P3 nonetheless, and we are easily through to Q2. Unfortunately, with a wasted set of tyres. But it is what it is. We can't always have, you know, the smoothest of days. And that 30.1, I don't think, would have seen us through, even if that first lap was valid. But anyways, we head through to Q2 now on our used set of tyres. Just getting a banker down, and we set a 30.1. A couple of tenths shy of Thomas Ronha, who goes to the top. But we go on to a new set of tyres here. Once again, slightly wide of that last corner apex. DRS open up to the line. Let's see what our first representative lap is going to be. 29.4 puts us provisional P4. And as we say there, we're not sure whether that's going to be enough to get us through to Q3. So we decided in the pits, a bit of umming and ahhing, to go again. Just to make sure we're, you know, buying a ticket to the raffle, if you will, for Q3. To give us a chance of going for pole. So down into turn 1 now. Clipping the inside curb nicely. Good traction. And we are basically in line with our previous lap, just trying to get any sort of improvement down to try and secure our place into the Q3 session. All looking pretty neat and tidy, a little bit wide of that turn 5, I think it is, turn 5 apex. And as you can see there, we have a snap in the absolute worst place, as it's going to hurt us all the way down this main straight now. And we're half a tenth down on this lap that we think might not be safe. So we have a little bit of work to do now, heading into the second half of the lap, clobbering these curbs nicely, and we gain that half a tenth back and a little bit more. So heading into this last sector now, we set a 49.6 sector 2 split, and we're just going to have to try and close this lap out best we can. We're dropped to P5 at the moment, as someone has improved ahead of us. A little bit of movement on that column on the left as people finish their laps, but all the focus now is on getting a decent last couple of corners to this lap and ensure that we are going to see some laps in Q3 from ourselves, hooking that up pretty well on the last corner. DRS Open once again. We're 10th up, heading across the line, and they are the second to last car to cross the line, and we finish P2 there in that session. P3 should I say, as Alexander Kraft improved behind us. But we were more than safe with our first lap, would have been P7. So yeah, that's a little bit disappointing, as we are only going to have one fresh set of tyres now heading into Q3, as we see here finishing our banker lap on a used set. We set a 29.6, a couple of tenths shy of our teammate, who I believe was on a new set. But here we go now, our one shot for Q3 here, on a new set of tyres. So we're going to have to try and make this one count down into turn 1. And let's see what we can do in this, yeah, as I say, one shot that we have. We're 10th up already, heading through the middle of sector 1, trying to climb all of those curves. We hit a little bit of a bump, and just to compound it, we have a horrible slide, which is just going to raise that internal
last lap ruined.
Internal carcass temperature.
Absolutely ruined by whatever that happened.
And that's going to compromise us for the rest of the lap. And as you'll be able to see here through the chicane, we are rather unsettled now. The rear end is just not really sticking in the way we want, not being able to get under traction as aggressively as we like. And we're just half a tenth up on our Q2 split time, which wasn't an overly amazing lap anyway. And it's going to be even worse through this last sector now. I think all 4 of our tyres are now overheating from that just one mistake, and that is the level of precision that you need sometimes on this game when you're on the limit. One mistake could see an end to your qualifying, and we're a little bit wide of that second to last corner apex. Compromise us through the last corner, losing time on the delta.
Gutted. That is so poor.
And we're going to cross the line to do a 29.287. We go slower than our Q2 time. And as you can see, at the end of the session, we end up P8. When we had the pace to be easily up with our teammate once again around the first row, second row area without a shadow of a doubt. But we're going to try and move on from that, try and stay a little bit positive here. We're still in the top 10 and we still have plenty of points to fight for. So we have five lights now. And lights out and away we go, and we get a good launch in comparison to the likes of Jack West alongside us. He tries to cover us off, if I can get my words out. But he goes diving in there, trying to keep that track position. We get a little bit squeezed onto that turn 2 apex, so we have to settle in behind as we started to lose a little bit of stability on the rear end. But we are looking to make moves nice and early here to try and get us back into the position where we should probably be fighting for. Trying to compromise Jack there to try and get a good run on him onto this super long straight, as we're going to deploy some DRS, definitely not, some ERS here. But Jack responds there, and he's looking pretty quick at a straight line, so we settle in behind for now, try and get a good exit of the chicane. There's a little bit of a squiggle, as do we on the exit of that chicane, but we're going to keep on deploying here, being super aggressive with our battery, get right under that rear wing of the AlphaTauri driver, racing for Parnell here I believe, and we're going to go for a little bit of an under and over here, try and force our way through in this double right, and we are side by side, and unfortunately we get a little bit of side to side contact there that nearly spins us out. Just check for damage. And there's no damage to the car, fortunately, or nothing significant enough that our engineers picked up on. So we file in once again to the back of Jack West here, and we are still sitting in P8, so where we started, but with 40% less battery than we started the lap with. So it's not been a great start. But skipping on now to the middle of lap 3, haven't been able to make any progress still. And we're starting to get a little bit frustrated, as we can clearly see our pace is probably superior to the couple of cars in front of us. So we are once again draining the battery, trying to get right under that rear wing once again. And we're going to try a similar move, try and get further alongside and try and dictate this corner. But once again, Jack gets a good launch, so we're going to dummy him to the inside, force him to go deep, but by doing so, takes out Alexander Kraft.
Fucking hell,
and that's going to send us up into P6. However,
mate, I've got illegal overtakes. I'm going to have to serve down the pits. Is this some kind of sick
as you
joke?
can see here, we pick up
I can't give them back,
some
can
ridiculous penalties here. And as you can see, we're going to be awarded with a 5-second penalty for corner cutting and gaining
I'm
2
gonna have to
places
serve down the pits now.
when I was simply having to avoid an incident. There's nowhere I could have
What
gone.
a fucking joke.
And we couldn't give the places back
thank you so
as I didn't
much.
even know where Kraft was. He was facing the wrong. He was facing the wrong way,
One of them was facing the wrong way. How am I meant to give
as
the
I
place
say
back?
there. So now we're gonna have to serve that 5-second penalty in the pits, and we are now crucially out of DRS from the top 5.
I've lost the DRS.
With just
no battery.
just over, what's that, 20% battery remaining. So skipping on to the end of that lap, we are doing our best to try and get back within that DRS detection zone. With Thomas Ronhart leading the way there. We're just about matching his pace up front, but we literally have no battery left. We are trying our best, trying to send it through this first sector. We pick up a warning for our troubles, even though that first couple of corners was less than ideal. But yeah, these corners are seriously critical for this race now, because we have no battery, and we are probably not going to be able to catch these guys if I don't get the DRS now. We are teetering on the edge of that 1 second, but as we cross that DRS detection line, we just sneak into the detection with 2% battery, and now just heading on to the end of this lap, we're just going to have to try our best to try and hold on to that DRS detection, as we did.
I think we should go long on this stint. Try and take a tyre advantage.
As you hear there from Brett, trying to go long in his stint to try and take a tyre advantage at the end of the race, factoring in for our penalty. See if we can respond late in the race when people are battling, and we agree with that logic. And skipping on a few laps later, we have managed to save up some battery. Not interested in attacking the back of Stachulek, as he is holding on to the DRS just about, as the top 4 are starting to battle now as we near the pit window. That involves our teammate Alvaro Caraton here, trying to go side by side with Thomas Ronhar, and now he's going to be battling with the likes of Alfie Butcher here. So the R8G guys and the Haas guys are all sort of grouping around him and causing him some problems up front here. I believe Alvaro's also ill this day, so he's not having a great time with things at the moment. As we see here, Jack West dives into the pits,
Yeah, Jack West.
and is going to start the
They're trying to work together over.
the undercut here on this top group, which is going to start causing some reactions from people around us, responding to that, as they obviously wouldn't want to lose that track position. But yeah, ended up 13 pretty early, I've got to say. But looking at our tyres, they're not looking too healthy. Just past halfway distance, as you can see here, our grip is starting to fade away. Check the tyres here. As we say here, the tyres are dying, and this whole strategy of going long isn't looking so good. Our pace is starting to drop as the likes of Ron Hart and Joost dive into the pits, which releases our teammate into the lead of this race.
Right, Alvaro, give it your all.
Who's going to respond at the end of this lap. As we see here, he dives in with the likes of Alfie Butcher and Stachulek, which is now going to release us into the lead of this race. And we're going to go yet again 1 lap longer here, because I don't think our tyres can take much longer.
Give everything Shanaka.
I think we're a little bit low.
Thomas has
on
been
the
held
tyre
up
pressures,
a lot.
I believe.
Good 3 seconds.
Really struggling here later on in the stint.
Am I boxing? Because my front tyres are completely
As I say there, my tyres are not having a great time in certain language. So yeah, we're just going to try and give it everything for the rest of this lap. Really squeeze any little bits of life out of these hard compound tyres that they have, and use a little bit of battery as well. Obviously, we are going to have to serve that 5 seconds in the pits. But anything we can wake up now to lessen the damage that we have on the mediums will still help us, and it could be, you know, getting us into DRS out of the pits. You know, this could be making a difference. So we're going to tell our engineer that we are boxing this lap, make sure they're nice and ready for us at the end of this lap. As you can see, we're still pushing nice and hard here, really trying to get everything out of this car that it wants, that it can give us now. So we're going to come around here, try and line up the pit entry, make sure not to cross the lines on the inside, as PSGL are super strict with that. But what's even stricter is the pit lane speed limit that we break. So that's going to award us with another 5-second penalty, which is deserved this time. And now we have well and truly lost our heads.
Where's my DRS?
As we say here, within that 1 second window of Leroy Brown here as we cross the line, but not when we cross the detection. We were a few thousands out. So we're getting pretty disappointing race so far. As we pass Dylan Warren there on the left, he's had a bit of a calamity, so that's a free position for us for the time being. But finally, we do get within the DRS detection of Leroy Brown here, and we're going to be looking to get past these guys as quickly as possible to try and clear them and build the gap to try and create some damage limitation here. So we're going to try and go for the switchback on these guys, but Luke Smith is going to dive down the inside of us, and this is going to get very messy here as we get completely sandwiched by these guys. And yeah, pretty frustrating in the moment, but
I really don't know how to race at all.
Ambitious move by Luke there. As we clear the likes of Leroy Brown, he knows that we are not in the same race. But yeah, good move from Luke there. Frustrating at the time, but yeah, nothing wrong with it. Just firm but fair. But here we go now, skipping on to lap 21. Still trying to limit the damage that we have caused ourselves and the game has caused us. Onto the back of Conor Muir here. We are going to take that infamous inside line through that double right, and he lets us go pretty nicely there. So he also knows that we are not in the same race. He has 8 seconds of penalties, and there's no need for him to be wasting any time battling us. So now we are looking at the back of Modesto Mena as Luke Smith dives down the inside of him, but he's going to get the switchback. And yeah, bit of an unnecessary fighting going on here. Because Luke Smith is going to have the DRS once again, and is going to get the inside line nice and easily for this first corner. But
what is this contact model? Honestly, I didn't even touch him on my screen.
Touched the back of Modesto, even though we had no feedback through our wheel, no contact sounds, or you know, any indicator that we hit him. But yeah, it was clear that on his screen that he lost the back end and was sent over the first corner, which gave him enough warnings to be given a 3-second penalty. Obviously that will be removed, so I would still very much say that we are not in the same race here. So hopefully he recognises that, and we can just sort of get on past him and still continue to limit our damage here. We get a good exit off this chicane, and we're going to go looking to the inside here, but it is absolutely driving on his mirrors.
Oh my god.
Reacting
to where I'm going.
That was quite a jinx, but there we are. Reacting to where I was going there, and I found that, yeah, not ideal. Not the most fair driving. I don't find that, yeah, a great standard to be reacting to where people are going, I should say, as it could cause a horrific incident, as he's doing it once again, and he's absolutely parking the bus for some reason with us, as we are, you know, very much not in the same race. He's obviously entitled, more than entitled, to fight us, no doubt about it. But yeah, found it quite strange.
He gets DRS. How?
Why he's battling so hard for someone who's not racing really on track, and it's bringing the likes of Leroy Brown, who is in a race with him, back into contention. So yeah, slightly strange, but we get a good exit here. Modesto makes a mistake, and we are going to get in the slipstream and alongside, heading into the last sector of lap 23 here. And finally, with 0% battery, we are going to clear the FVR man. But now, crucially, we've wasted so much time. We have lost the DRS to Luke Smith, but it didn't matter in the end anyway. Skipping on to lap 27. We lost the back of Luke Smith, who managed to latch himself onto that second group, but didn't make any further progress through that pack. Pace wasn't amazing on the mediums from ourselves, but we did our best to try and limit the damage in terms of race time. So we're going to head up to the line now, see where we drop to with that 5-second penalty, and we end up in P16.
I already served a 5-second in the pits.
Yeah, it's been a far from ideal day today, but yeah, it wasn't as bad as it may have seemed, as you'll be able to see from this updated spreadsheet here. We are promoted up to P11, and that's due to the likes of both R8G Academy drivers and both Haas F1 team drivers being disqualified, and that was due to them working together during the race. Obviously both ran by R8G. It was outlined at the start of the season that no teamwork between those teams would be allowed, yet they did so anyway during that race over comms. So yeah, all of those guys were disqualified, which thankfully and gratefully promoted our teammate Alvaro up to the win, which I'm very grateful for after the rough day today that I had. Obviously didn't have anywhere to go in terms of the first 5-second penalty being administered by the game, but we shot ourselves again in the foot with that speeding in the pit lane penalty. So yeah, a bit of an unfortunate day for multiple reasons, but yeah, we still brought home 10 points, but it definitely could have been a lot more today had we had a bit of a smoother qualifying, smoother start to the race. So yeah, lesson learned, and we'll go again next time in Zandvoort. We still have a 41-point lead, which is still pretty good. Obviously, with it being a team championship, it can sway very quickly with the points for two cars. You know, if you have a couple of incidents for us and a couple of good results for another team, it can sway very quickly. As you can see, R8G went from second to fifth after that one. But yeah, we'll be looking forward to a better race next time out in Zandvoort. Not a track that I'm a fan of inherently. It never really suited me too well, but for sure we'll be going for a better result next time out in the E-Series. But yeah, guys, as for this video, that's all she wrote. I hope you all enjoyed. Slightly topsy-turvy race, but I like to show the highs and the lows. But yeah, as I say, we'll be going for better next time out in Zandvoort, so stay tuned for that coming next week. And yeah, take care and peace out.